Sabaha everybody and welcome back to the channel. Today we finally have it, the official EMUI 9.0 on Android 9.0 for our Honor Play. This is TK and let's check it out. Okay, this is the Honor Play, the Gamer Edition version with the black circuit board that you can probably see right there, as well as the red color accents. 1080p, 6.3-inch display, gaming-centric phone. You can notice definitely the red accent colors here. The really exciting part about this is, of course, now that we have EMUI 9.0. Now, you'll notice there's a theme there, and I'll explain to you in a second how I was able to get everything set up. But overall, if we go into the Settings tab, the dark theme is not part of the operating system, so just keep that in mind, and I'll explain to you how I got that there. But you can actually install it if there is a compatible theme that will get this coloring going for you. Under About Device, you can see there, this is the COR L29 EMUI 9.0, running 9.0.0.156 with GPU Turbo, and of course this is running on top of Android 9.0. The Kirin 970 is the processor powering this device. We have 4 gigs of RAM, again as I mentioned, 64 gigs of internal storage that is expandable via the SD card option on the side. It is at 2340 by 1080 as a 1080p panel with the form factor, obviously the 19.5:9 aspect ratio. Basically November 1st, 2018 security patch update, which essentially is the latest that we can get. Definitely very exciting to have EMUI 9.0 finally on our Honor Play. I wasn't able to get into the beta version of the testing on this, so very happy to be able to jump directly into the full version. Now going into the settings, you'll notice that the organization, we do have wireless projection here. The icons overall pretty much the same, and wireless projection for the most part is very similar to the way we had it on the Honor 10, not the way we had it on the Honor Magic 2. Meaning we don't have EMUI 9.0 desktop mode built into this. We just have mirror reflection, as I'm showing you guys right now. You can connect it over Wi-Fi and it will project the display of your device directly to a smart display, a TV that is compatible with it. And then you'll be able to basically project images, photos, videos, whatever you'd like, and it'll work wirelessly over the network. Very nice, very simple, although I would have wished really having EMUI 9.0 desktop mode. That would have been very, very nice. Getting into the actual settings tab, organization has changed from what we had in EMUI 8.2. Overall, as far as the categorization, we have wireless and networks. Of course, this is just going through Wi-Fi, mobile network, dual SIM configuration, VPN, all of that stuff here. Very simple then. And when we go into device connectivity, we have NFC, Huawei Beam, of course, as Huawei Share, wireless projection, as I mentioned to you guys, and of course, printing. Next thing we go is into the display. The display, we have color temperature configuration, sleep mode, eye comfort, text display size. For screen resolution, we have the smart option to be able to go between 720p and 1080p. By default, it's set to be on smart. You can configure it to stay at 1080p, but if you do have the smart option, it does help you with the battery life, as this is an IPS panel, not an OLED. And of course, more battery display option gives us just the ability of hiding the notch if you don't want to see it. Smart rotate if you want. Auto rotate screen is on by default. Screensaver is off right now. But under status bar, you can display carrier's name as well as display network speed. You notice we don't have always on display, and that's because this is IPS. IPS generally, when Huawei or Honor puts out operating systems for those, they generally don't include always on displays, as they're not optimized for that, and they generally will tend to basically deplete the battery. As anytime your display is on, the full display is on, even when I'm showing you a black theme on there, it's still technically the entire panel is using power right now. So just keep that in mind why we don't have that option in here. Of course, we have simple mode if you'd like to be able to turn that on. By default, I like to keep everything just the normal way with an app drawer. Sounds is pretty simple, very self-explanatory. You have the ability of customizing your sounds, obviously the ringtone by SIM card, and of course under more sounds you can go in there, just turn on the screenshot option, vibration, all of that stuff. And then of course mobile broadcast if you want to get this for those emergency sections. Notifications, pretty simple. Give it a second, you can go in there and customize it. App icon badges, lock screen notification, more notification settings, very simple there. Apps, what we had before is pretty much the same thing. We have App Twin that I have it disabled right now, but you can turn it on. We have App Gallery Assistant, default apps. Now, it does have the ability of basically changing your launcher, and I've tried changing this over to Nova, but every time I did that, it kept crashing for me. So I'm hoping this gets fixed in the next update. It does allow us to change launchers, but it's not really playing well with other launchers. So just keep that in mind. And this will be also if you want to be able to change your default application for any of the other default apps like browser, email, music, and so on. And of course, apps, you'll be able to go in there if you want to uninstall certain apps. Battery, for the most part, gets us the same information as we've had before. We have the different performance modes. We have performance mode, power saving mode, and of course, ultra power saving mode. App launch, battery usage, power consumption, battery percentage, if you want to be able to show that. I'm showing that right there. And of course, under more battery options, just to see what the intensive apps that are running in the background. And of course, power consumption alerts. That's that little thing that comes up every once in a while. Whenever you're using something and it's using too much power or in the background and still using a lot of power, it'll give you a notification for that. If you don't like that, you can disable it there. Storage, as I mentioned to you guys, 64 gigs is built into this device. You are able to expand that with an SD card, and this is just basically what I currently have on this device. Now, digital balance is really nice. This is basically the digital well-being from for Android 9.0 from Pixel phones brought over to basically our Huawei and Honor devices, and essentially just a way for us to understand our usage, our habits, and how many times do we actually use a device. Now, this is really early in the morning. I haven't had that much time to put some hours on this, but overall, it'll give us a notification. It'll sit in the notification panel, and we'll be able to see basically how many times do we unlock our phone, how many hours do we spend in Instagram, like I do, YouTube, and so on, and what we're doing on our device. And we can at least look at it on a weekly basis and see, have we done anything about basically reducing our dependency on screens. Security and privacy is pretty standard. We have the Google certain standard securities, fingerprint ID, face recognition, as we do have face unlock, lock screen password, of course, password vault, app lock, as well as private space and file safe are all installed. And you're able to use them, of course. Trusted agent, device identifier, usage information, screen pinning, of course, is off by default. If you'd like to turn that on, you can. Now, here on the smart assistants, we have accessibility, which we can go in there and turn on the accessibility options if you'd like to use those. One-handed UI, motion control, voice control, of course, mistouch prevention, so that we don't have mistouching issues. Glove mode, in case you do install, let's say, a really thick glass protector, or if you're using gloves. Schedule on and off, of course, and of course system navigation. We'll get to that as soon as we get into the next tab. Basically here we just have user accounts in Google. Those are just standard, but under system is where we get a little bit nicer as well. Under the about phone, as I showed you guys, we saw about the information. Software update is right there. System navigation gives us a few new options now. So we have gestures, we have single key navigation, the 3-key navigation, the standard one, and you're able to reconfigure these in the order that you'd like, of course, and you can also have them hide whenever you're not using them. And of course we have the navigation dock, which just turns on basically a pill. Let's go and turn it on, and that basically gives us access to all of the functionalities that we normally have. I personally prefer using gestures, so I'm going to go ahead and turn off here. Not the navigation gestures with the pill at the bottom. I prefer full screen gestures. And this is really nice here, because what we have here that's different from the Honor 10 is the lack of a fingerprint sensor at the bottom to have an issue with. So our fingerprint sensor here is in the back. So very nice, very simple. And all we need to do basically is just swipe up, hold in the center. We have access to all of our apps, and of course if we want to open up a multi-window, we can just open it here, go in, open up YouTube, everything will open up the same. Now this theme doesn't permeate into the YouTube that I showed you guys. This is pretty much just part of what we had as far as the YouTube update that they pushed out. And of course I can just open it up, go home, and we'll go one more time. So that's overall most of the updates that we saw here on the device. Now if we go into the theming section, there's a theme that you can download, and I'll give you guys a link to that in the description below, that's compatible with EMUI 9.0 devices. So on their theme, this is called the Deep Black, version 1.2 is what I'm running. And this is what's going to give us the ability of having that pure black notification panel, pure black settings tab, all of that stuff. And of course we can configure all of those things in our device under the basically just the theming option. This is basically where you'll be able to configure everything from your themes, your wallpaper, your magazine unlock, home screen settings, of course, as well as home screen style. I have it with the app. You don't have to if you don't like it. Lock screen signature, and then of course show step count if you want to be able to use that for that. And it'll apply everywhere on your device. The camera did kind of get a little bit of a refresh. We still have AI mode sitting where we need to have it there. Let's go back here. We have, of course, night mode, slow-mo, pro mode, panorama light effect. HDR is present only on the back camera. 3D panorama, basically filter, as well as time lapse, watermark, artist, and there isn't really any additional ones to download, but overall very nice. AR stickers, video, photo, portrait, of course, and aperture mode, all the normal modes that we've seen before. It may not look like you have anything in here, but this is a FedEx box that I was shipping last night. And of course, when using AI mode or night mode, it gives us access to be able to see what's in the dark. So night mode on this works really good, and it is basically handheld, so you don't have to worry about using a tripod. But again, it turns an image that's almost non-existent on our display, and I have bumped up the brightness all the way to 100%, and of course to an image that we can actually see in the dark. You may be asking yourself how I was able to get this update on my device so soon. The reality is, I've mentioned to you guys before in other videos, is that I use the service called FunkyHuawei, which allows me to basically update my device directly from that server without having to necessarily wait for the update to come out as an OTA. But the answer essentially is that if you want to wait for it, there's no reason for you not to actually just give it some time. It will push through as an OTA. And what I wanted to show you guys today is what's coming down the pipe, and that is the update is being released and it is available. It just needs a little bit of time for it to show up for you guys on your devices. If you have an unlocked device, it will show up first. If you have a carrier branded device, meaning you bought it from a phone company, there's a chance that that one will take a little bit longer as the update gets pushed out to the carrier first, and they push it out to your phone. So all I'm saying is it's going to be a matter of time. It's a stage rollout to start with in the first place. So it may take a few days, it may take a few weeks, it may even take up to a month. So it is coming. This is what it looks like. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. All the information I shared with you guys today will be linked in the description below. Of course, the FunkyHuawei, as well as that theme that I shared with you guys, as that actually really makes our device look very, very nice. Specifically for me, because it's a black on the back with a red color accents, I can have a really nice dark theme. Although it's not built into the device, it will look very nice on our phones. Thank you very much for the support. Like and subscribe as usual, and share with all your friends that may have Honor devices that are waiting for EMUI 9.0. This is TK. I'll see you guys in the next video.